guys introduce yourselves, tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
Okay, I guess I'll start. My name is Ashley Fultz. I am the founder and blogger behind the styleeditrix.com, where I cover fashion, beauty, home decor, a lot of my personal style mixed with style tips and tricks and beauty tips and tricks, as well as original video content. And I'm also a TV style expert. I'm on KTLA a couple times a month, and then I do various other video platforms and branded videos. AOL.com often features me, and yeah, I have a 21-month-old little boy at home too. So I'm also covering baby must-haves, and home life and home decor is a big part of my brand now since we bought a house about a year ago. So.
Hi, I'm Keyma, and I blog over at Style Weekender. I am a Jamaican native. I was born and raised in Jamaica, and I've been living here now for 12 years. My blog is a lifestyle blog, and I cover fashion, I cover beauty, and I cover travel and decor. And I'm also a full-time employee in the education space, and I work with the tech community also in my full-time job. And my blog came about just as a passion of balancing like my 9-to-5 with what I'm really, super passionate about. And so I got into just creating content around fashion, and I love just mixing that with my home, and how that blends with everything is one of the things that really brings so much joy to my life. So yeah, that's my
Thank you.
I'm Ashley Tarkington. My blog is Ash in Fashion, and aside from that, I'm also a wardrobe stylist with the TV show Access Hollywood. My blog covers everything from my personal style to home decor, and my baby also. I have a 6-month-old baby girl. So I just kind of merge it all. I've been in the entertainment news space for the last 10 years. I was a fashion producer before this, and I've just kind of transitioned into styling and blogging.
My name is Jeni Maus. I own Found Vintage Rentals. It's a vintage rental company. We rent out to weddings and events, everything from corporate to weddings to birthday parties, TV shows, commercials, all that kind of stuff. We set up a table right back here in the middle. I also have a home store in downtown Fullerton called Found Home, and I have 2 teenage kids I'm also juggling in the midst of all of it. And yeah, that's about it.
Okay. Hi, my name is Haleh Khosrowpour. I work for Anthropologie Co. I am the general brand leader of the Anthropologie Co. over here in this mall. I've been with the company for 13 years. I have held every single position you could think of at Anthropologie. The last majority of my career, I've been a store manager for them, so overseeing all parts of the businesses. And as we've expanded with our new Anthropologie Co., which carries the Beholden now and future potential terrain spaces. I'm here to talk all things home with you and design as an Anthropologie expert. I'm also a mom too, did that, so working mom, so balance between work and love of family.
Thank you guys, and thank you all so much for being here. So I'm going to jump right in. I love to prep my home every season. In the summer sometimes I put some seashell stuff because I live near the ocean, beachy. I would love to hear from you. How do you prep your home for the fall to make it feel seasonally like, okay, we're here, it's fall?
Oh my gosh. Okay, for me, I really try to stick with the basics. So I try to really invest in pieces that I don't have to transition out season to season. But I will tell you, for fall, I love pumpkins, and I love the blush color pumpkins, and I love the white ones, so I usually try to make some sort of tablescape out of cranberries and pumpkins, and then of course my doorstep and a few other little pieces in the house have little pumpkin decor. But I'm a firm believer in really decorating your house that you're not going to get sick of, and investing in those pieces that season after season, they're timeless and you can make work for you, and they're just, I don't know, effortless and always on trend.
I would say for me, it has to be the scents. Because I love coming home and opening the door, and I can feel like I'm in fall, wherever it is. I come in, and my home should feel like I'm somewhere else. So I love like infusing scents, like cinnamon and nutmeg, and anything that brings that fall scent to me. And oranges or so. Sometimes I'll make my own on the stove, and I'll cut it up, and I'll have like, cinnamon sticks and oranges and stuff in there, so that way it just boils and it's just going throughout the house, and I can really just relax to a good glass of wine, and I could just feel like it's fall because it's like just cozy, and like beautiful outside, and I can really, really immerse myself there. So definitely the scents.
That's great.
I will echo those as well. I mean, I love the Cinderella pumpkins, the white pumpkins, the blush ones that are big and look like a Cinderella carriage. I love the cinnamon brooms. You can get them at Trader Joe's. You just put them in your house and it smells delicious. Like, it just makes every room smell. There's some really good scented candles for fall. I know Anthropologie has a bunch. You can never go wrong with an Anthropologie candle.
Yes, we do enhance that scent.
Anything that just brings in the natural elements of fall, I'm all about.
I would have to say the same thing, but also I keep a very neutral palette in my house, mostly just because that's what I'm drawn to, but then I don't have to change a lot for the seasons. So I might switch out the linen throw I have on my couch for a velvet or a cashmere throw, just something a little more chunky and something that will actually get used. We're not currently using blankets this season, so in the next coming months we'll definitely curl up on the couch with a blanket, so having something kind of nice and thick and cozy to comfort up with is good. And changing out the greenery. I always try to have live greenery in my house. I think it just brings a very refreshing element to the home, and so instead of like a fig tree, I might change it out for a pine tree or something that will bring in that uniqueness for the fall. And of course, candles. I mean, I've always got the volcano candle going from Anthropologie, but also
Fireside's in stock right now.
fire.
And mold.
Switch it up with the little pumpkin scent. Will change the whole feel of the home.
Well, yes, absolutely scent. I think candles, obviously. At Anthropologie, we actually set up our spaces to embrace all 5 of your scents, and all 5 of your emotions. But in general, I think for me, keeping that neutral palette in the big pieces, and then adding the seasonal textiles. The decorative pillows can be seasonal, and that can make the room completely change. The throws, absolutely. Coming with like fresh cuts or foliage, like gourds are so fun, or acorns, and making just like one simple bowl of gourds will give your whole look a different feel and seasonally appropriate. And whatever's natural to you, like within your community or the theme of your home, picking up something that's really seasonally appropriate and highlighting that makes a really easy change.
So the 5 senses, sorry, I have to ask, what
Yeah.
are the 5 senses?
So
I feel like I
obviously-
walk into an Anthropologie and I'm like,
Yeah, okay, so obviously you get to walk in and you see it, right? But visually, we do displays. So hopefully our displays embrace your visual sense. Scent is to our candles, so we're obviously always burning. Everybody always asks, what is Anthropologie pumping into the air? We don't pump anything into the air, but we burn our candles. And the one that's the most popular is the Capri Blue Candle Volcano scent. That's what we refer to as a signature. So then you've got touch. So different textiles, fabrications, the way in which the display does. So there's like an interest in it too. You're hearing music. So tone of energy in the building, kind of like what does that feel like, the music, what that level is, and then overall that communication piece, right? So the talk, the dialogue. What does the service feel like, and how are we treating you like you're at home while you walk into our store?
all makes sense.
So you guys are all very much on the pulse of what is trending and stylish. And I would love to hear from you current trends in interior design that you've been noticing lately and how we can incorporate those trends into our home.
Yeah, I think blush is a trend that we're seeing in clothing and home decor. It's something to just feels so feminine and rich and luxe to me, and so I really love incorporating that, whether it's in pillows or blankets or your outfits, but there's one blanket in particular. It's this really chunky knit, and I actually was just looking up the name to remind me, but it's called Woolly Cloud US, and I think there's a different brands that make this kind of, but it's like super chunky knits, and they're so luxe and amazing, and I want one on every couch and every bed in my house. And then velvet is a huge trend. Obviously I'm wearing a dress today, but you can also incorporate that into your home life. life. I have a velvet couch, but I was just looking on Anthro.com the other day, and they had so much velvet, and they had a lot of blush too. And there's gold accents still are sticking around. So I feel like that modern glam gold has been a big part of home decor for the past few years, and the brass tones too that you're incorporating into your hardware, and it's sticking around, and you're seeing it in a lot of dishware still, and you're seeing it in a lot of accent pieces as far as legs on chairs and tables and everything else. I feel like those are still huge trends and some that I'm still loving and want to incorporate into my house.
Yeah, I think for me, one of the trends I'm seeing is bringing the outdoor inside and infusing a lot of like plants and stuff inside your home, like succulents in the right places, like a nice little tree or so, or even for me, I like lavender. So always have like lavender present, and I think like there's like let's say Urban Outfitters have this great way of putting their home pieces together, which usually inspires me. And just being able to even do like a neat little DIY and getting just a succulent and roping it or using burlap to wrap it or something like that. So I've seen a lot of that where plants are indoors a lot. And for me, I think it brings a certain, you know, an experience in your home and being able to have that life feel of like your plants, not just your regular flowers or your bouquets or so, but a live plant that you can really just nurture and watch grow. So definitely that in the home.
I've just started doing that, and it makes me actually really happy when I walk in and I have these amazing succulents that don't need a lot of care.
Not a lot of care.
So I have been all about golds and rose golds for the past few years. I know there's nothing original about that. I did rose gold hardware in the kitchen, but something I've been really into lately is matte black as for hardware. You could do it in a laundry room, a bathroom, even a kitchen, and it just looks so chic. There's like matte black faucets, and then you pair it with a mirror and the pulls, and it just all comes together and looks amazing, and it's something that I've been really drawn to lately.
I love that. It's great.
Yeah. Along those same lines, I would say mixed metals. I think people think that they have to stick with a certain metal throughout their house, whether they've got brass handles in the kitchen, they've got to carry it through in the bathroom. I personally don't do that, and I don't think that it's a rule that you have to follow. I think mixed metals is huge in the design world, not just with handles on cabinets, but on the tablescape with silver and brass and gold, mixing them together. I don't think that I'm not a matchy-matchy person, so I think that mixing actually adds a comfort and appeals to the masses, so I think that it's definitely not a taboo thing to do. I think West Coast style is definitely known for kind of effortless and not really trying very hard, a relaxed, more chill environment, so that's something with a neutral palette I think is very attainable. Switching it out with like we were talking about velvets and different textiles can add a different element, but just a very neutral, effortless palette is something that I think is huge in the design world and always will be, and able to change it up easily with, like we were saying, throws and blankets and stuff like that. So.
I think, all of those suggestions. I think too, for me, fall right now, emerald, that color, that rich, the jewel tones. Yeah. I think I heard, referring it into fashion, obviously we bring it out. The burgundies, the purples, and like the golds and mustards are so pretty in fall. I think right now for home this season, it's so fun to bring out those really rich colors and like those deep blues mixed in with the velvets, and then you can pop in the gold accents that feel really just luxurious almost. So I would say that's one of my favorite trends right now.
Thanks, guys. So I love a good hack. I'm always searching for new ones that I can try. I'd love to hear from you guys some of your favorite DIY hacks that help with home decorating. Some ones that you've tried out or that you want to try and haven't tried yet.
I will pass to the other girls on this. I am the worst, I'll just be honest, DIY person. Do not ask me. DIY is like
I can answer some, since I think as a company we're DIY when it comes to display and visuals. We do it all ourselves. Yeah. So learning how to use a drill, there's not a class for that. It was just like, here's a drill. But one of the big things, I know everybody loves an Anthropologie candle, right? So we use this all the time, but those candles are beautiful vessels. They're great once the candle burns down too. So all you need to do is once you get to the bottom of it, put it in your freezer freeze out that wax for a couple of hours, and then you can just take a quick blade, pop out that bottom residue, and you can put succulents in there. You can use different bases. You can make it a beautiful floral arrangement. You could put in the bathroom, your cotton swabs or your cotton balls in there, and it's really fun.
Another trick with that is sometimes those candles burn down to the bottom, but there's excess. Yes. You can drop it into boiling water, and then it melts back to, if the wick is gone, you can buy wicks at Michael's or whatever, order them online, and reburn it. So no wax is wasted.
Nice, I like it.
I'll just keep going with DIY hacks. I don't do a lot because I honestly just don't have a lot of time, and most DIYs seem like so simple, and then once you start doing it, you're like 17 hours in, and you're like, yeah, I could have bought this for a lot less than what I just spent doing this. But I actually, just a couple weekends ago, I was so frustrated with the handles on the dressers in my room. We live in a very old home, so our bedroom, my husband and I's bedroom, is like 10 by 11, and the wall space next to our bedroom is literally 32 inches. I came across these dressers probably 10 years ago, and they fit perfectly. They're old, they're vintage, they're from the 60s. I completely repainted them, put new hardware on them when we first put them in the room, and I've just hated them for the last couple of years. So I took those off and replaced them with just pole. They're vintage, antique brass look handles, and every time I walk into my room in the last couple of weeks, I'm like, that tiny little change just changed the whole look of the room. It's crazy how something's so little.
Yeah, I will say hardware can make a huge, huge difference on anything. You can even buy like an IKEA dresser and then go to Anthro, get the knobs, throw it on there. Another good thing is to stain pieces like that. You can get a cheaper piece at like an IKEA or Target or something like that. You can stain it. You can change out the legs on things. It's always a really good little hack to do.
Yeah, I think also you can always like with your blankets or so, you can always add like pom-poms, like your earrings. Just get them at the store and just kind of like glue them on or stitch them on. Or I personally love essential oils, and I always have essential oils. And if you tip just a little bit of lemon oil in your garbage, it will not smell. So that will totally just help the scent of your kitchen or what your garbage smells like if you're taking it out. Just a little bit of lemon oil will go a long way with your garbage in your kitchen.
I will add just to this, just because I feel like the same thing with hardware. It's a huge thing, and Anthropologie has been my saving grace because I'm a huge Anthropologie fan. But my diaper dresser that I bought when the baby was born, I was like, oh, I want to do this really cool vintage like DIY project. I don't do DIY projects, so you should keep me away from any projects like that. But needless to say, after like 5 days of trying to paint some vintage dresser where the drawers would not close, I finally gave in, went to Target, and just bought a plain white dresser. But I was like, this is so boring and just whatever. I went and bought the hardware and the handles, and it changed it dramatically from Anthropologie. Some gold, like brass hardware with some marble on the front of it. And the same thing with my white little desk. I didn't want to pay $400 or $500 for a simple white desk that I was looking for. And I just literally found one on overstock.com and went to Anthropologie and again bought just little hardware for my 2 drawers in my desk. And I feel like that is a lifesaver. And DIY projects definitely have their place in our lives, but diaper dressers are not one of those. You do not want to be trying to shove the dresser drawer in every day. Thank goodness that did not turn out to be true. My husband was like, give it up. We're buying a dresser. Just let it go. Let it go.
Tip, do not DIY.
Yeah. Literally, can you imagine with the babies like on the changing table and I'm like trying to shove the, like he'd fall off. It would not be a good situation.
I'm a huge fan of the Anthro hardware as well. I've added it to a lot of just like simple pieces at home, and it makes it look extra special.
Changes everything.
Yeah, we just expanded the whole collection here too, so cool. A lot of assortment.
Well, speaking of decor accents, I would love to know what someone can add to their home to elevate the look of their home. Say you have just like a very classic palette or whatever it is, and you don't want to change around big items. What are some accents that you can add, some classic accents that you can add that can really elevate the style in your home?
For me, I think that pillows and throws are everything. I think you really have to invest in those pieces that you are gonna love for a long time and that are gonna go with everything. So I don't buy inexpensive throws, pillows, and furniture because I really want to keep them for a really long time. So you have to think like what's classic, what's timeless, what's gonna go forever. And I really love embroidered pieces and embellished pieces, but also really neutral palettes like we were talking about before that you can build upon and mix and match and that aren't gonna go out of style. I have a really large blue velvet couch and I feel like it's old school but really modern and cool at the same time. It's all about the shape, obviously. So probably go simpler the better is my opinion. But also just making it more luxe. I would think go for the gold hardware. I have two little gold end tables on each of my couch. It makes it look really luxe, and those chunky knits make it look so luxe. The velvet textures, anything that just feels really luxurious and expensive and feels really soft and comfortable, those are the things that you want to fill your house with because then that just makes you want to stay in your house longer. It's like when you go to a hotel, what do you love about that? White is a really big thing because it seems really clean and white and bright and makes you happy. So my walls are all white. And then you pick these beautiful gold mirrors and beautiful pieces, works of arts to hang on your walls too. You know, really accessorize it, but then keep it really neutral with everything else so that you don't get sick of it and get sick of looking at it every day, and you can keep it for a long time to come. So if you spend more money on it, it's okay.
That's a great tip about when you go to hotels, because sometimes I come from a hotel and I'm like, oh, why doesn't my living room look like this?
White is the best thing to do, I feel like. Always go white when you're in doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree with having a neutral palette because you can do so much with it as the season changes. One thing I like to do is to add, like, let's say a statement piece of clothing, like a jacket that has like lots of like metals are still on it. I like to just lay it on my couch. Like if friends are start coming over, it's a conversational piece. And we could talk about it. And we could talk where it comes from, if it was from the flea market or if it was from a high-end store. And I think that really emphasizes, for me, my style, because I do love fashion. And anything that I have that I don't get to wear it often. You know, I might have like a really nice coat, but how often does it get really cold in LA that I can wear it? So if I can just have it out, I can see it and we can like talk about it. Another thing I really think is great is to walk into someone's home and see like a beautiful metallic piece of item, whether it's a vase or it's just your bar cart or so, that has, and I love the two-tone kind of metal, so it tells you it's silver and it also tells you it's gold and it has rose, and you could do that with spray paint, honestly. I've tried it, it didn't work out, but I'll probably try it again. But totally, you can like, I like that because it really just pulls you in my home and when I go to someone else's home. And you know, I like taking inspiration from friends and family homes, and I hope when they come to mine too, they do. I think that's the beauty of home decor. It speaks to your style, and you have that one statement piece that will inspire someone. And I think metals are like a nice piece of clothing that you don't wear, but you're never gonna throw it away. You could always just lay it casually, like I just came home and I just dropped it there. No, you put it there because friends and family are coming over and we're gonna talk about it.
I love all those ideas, but I'm going to go kind of opposite and say that sometimes you should just get rid of like some clutter too to make a space feel really luxe. Yeah. Like go through your bookshelves, get rid of old knickknacks, or don't get rid of them. Just, you know, set them aside for now. You can put them out later when you want to change things up. But sometimes like there's too much clutter out, and that can distract from a space and draw the eyes away from where they could be, like, you know, a really pretty sofa or rug or table. Another thing I love to do is add trays into the space. It helps organize. You can put it on your coffee table, stack some coffee table books and a candle, maybe a vase. It really helps, you know, keep everything clean and streamlined, but also feeling uniform and just nice and luxe.
I'm going to go with the statement piece idea because although mine's not an article of clothing, mine tends to be more of an old object. Obviously, that's what I tend to buy mostly. So just a statement piece that sits in your room. It might not have a function, which a lot of pieces in my house don't. I'm constantly saying it's form over function. I don't have to have a reason for it except for it looks really pretty sitting in the corner and it makes me feel good when I walk into the house to look at it. So I buy things only that I love, and although I am constantly switching things out in my house, it's not because I'm loving or I love the piece that I'm getting rid of now. It's just that I find something that I love more. But I have had a wall before in my house sitting empty for 2 years waiting for the perfect piece, and I think that's okay. I told my sister she just bought a new house and it's like 3 times the size of her previous house, and I said, don't buy things just to fill the space. Wait until you find the perfect piece that you absolutely love, because you're going to keep it, you're going to love it every time you walk into your home. And I work a ton, but when I come home, I love to feel at home and cozy, which is a compliment I tend to get most often when people come over. Your house is so cozy. And I think that that's because of the one-of-a-kind pieces that have character and have the original patina and the 200-year-old paint on it and the chippiness. And it's also a conversation piece. I can talk about where I found it and how it got here, and I might not know everywhere that it's been, but I think it's just something that brings life to a room. And so I would say those, of course, vintage pieces are my go-to.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I mean, piggyback off of that. So found objects, you know, I think, you know, you can have multiple pieces and you can have lots of knickknacks, but deciding like what your shelf is going to say or what your coffee table is going to tells the story. And I think it's about buying those pieces that you absolutely love and that you're going to remember why you bought them or what you were doing when you bought them, or, you know, what little flea market you found them from. And I think those are the pieces that tell a little bit of the soul of like the home too. So, and you can buy lots of them and keep only a couple out at one time and change them up as the seasons change or the mood, and they curate different stories. So,
and I think the good thing about old pieces that they pair so nicely with clean, crisp, modern pieces as well. I have white slip-covered couches in my house that are sitting next to old, chippy, rusty pieces right next to it. So I think the combination of them goes well together as well.
Absolutely.
Well, there are so many amazing shops here to find pieces for your home, and I'd love to hear from each of you where you go to seek out unique pieces for your home at Fashion Island.
For me, obviously, I've said it before, Anthropologie is one of my go-tos. But more for like, I feel like the little statement pieces. I love their pillows. I always think they have this global feel to them, and it's just really artisanal and special and different than what I'm seeing everywhere else. And I feel like it's also really feminine too. So you're seeing a lot of fringe, you're seeing a lot of embroidery, you're seeing a lot of tassels, and just, I feel like vibrant colors, which I love vibrant colors, not on my walls, not in my furniture, but in throw pillows, you know? And so I really go there for that. And then also for little knickknacks too. I really gravitate towards, like you guys are saying, on a table and a tray. You really want to see those gold little knickknack pieces or things that you can put on. I have this great CB2 or West Elm piece in my living room, and it's white, and I just put a bunch of little knickknacks on it, and I really tend to gravitate towards gold for that. And I feel like Anthropologie is a great place to find those, or also Urban Outfitters, which is surprising to me because I don't think you think of that for home decor. And oftentimes I think of Urban Outfitters for a younger demographic, but they have really cool, unique pieces that you're not really gonna find anywhere else, which is awesome. And then of course, if you're looking for your staple bedding that are high-end, luxurious sheets and comforters and things like that, I always go to Nordstrom and Bloomingdale's. And oh, I forgot for Anthro too, my biggest thing, even before you guys were on registries, for my wedding, the only thing I wanted to do was get dishes and plates from Anthropologie. I'm like, they have the most special, amazing plates. And for fall, they have amazing stuff too. And that's another way to incorporate, I feel like, fall trends into your house without making it a big statement and changing up everything. But just buying a few little placement pieces for your dishware, you know, that you can put out. The dessert plate is a dark fall floral print, which they have on their site right now, which is really cool. But then also, I was going to say, Nordstrom also has really cool pieces. When it comes to champagne glasses, they have really fun little sayings on them and cute prints and little gifts that you can give people too. Candles and, you know, I feel like a cheese knife and just all kinds of bottle openers and really fun little knickknacks that you can play with, and also just set around in your home as decor, which you wouldn't normally think to do. So as long as they're pretty and marble and brass and everything else, you can just put them out everywhere.
Oh my God, so many great places to go visit.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of actual mugs from Anthropologie that I sometimes just put out, and they're so pretty, like the floral ones. Yeah, I'd love to hear from you, some of your favorite spots.
Mine would definitely have to be Urban Outfitters, simply because, like, You can find so many unique pieces, and their sales are amazing. So you could go from just looking at a rug, a small rug for $200 that could totally go to like $40 on the right weekend, you know, if you just stalk them a little bit and call them. They're very much customer friendly. Definitely love Anthropologie. Their candles are everything. They just make your space smell great. And I like going to Macy's to get like bedding again because their sales are great, and clearly I'm a sales gal, so I'll definitely always go for sales. So I love finding like, you know, that one piece or a few pieces that I've been looking for a while, and then finally it just makes its way into on my computer, and I buy it or so. So definitely those are the stores that I really, really like. I enjoy finding like little gold pieces, or sometimes I mistake stuff. I will think it's a ring, but it actually isn't a ring, and I'll buy it like in Urban Outfitters and trying to put it on my, you know. So like little pieces that you could just put on your coffee table or on the entranceway or so that will really make the space feels great. I think those are definitely always at Urban Outfitters for me personally.
Yeah, Urban and Anthro are always really good go-tos. I also love Jonathan Adler. They have some really good, like, fun bar pieces for, like, glasses and, you know, bottle openers and trays and things. My husband always jokes that if it's gold or marble, like, it could be a paperclip and I would buy it. Like, it might be a little, I mean, it's not revolutionary here, but it's like a moth to a flame at this point. I love all of those. Anthropologie always for candles, and you know, Bloomingdale's, Nordstrom, they have really good staple pieces. Nordstrom has a really good home section now. They have even rugs there, which surprised me.
Yeah. I'm gonna stick on that theme and say Anthropologie is by far my favorite store here. I've been known to drive here just to go to that store and drive all the way back home, half an hour away.
It's a lovely panel.
Here for you.
She didn't
We're
pay
here
us.
for you.
Yeah. I'm like, this isn't sponsored.
And not just for buying things. I mean, obviously, I love shopping in there, but just for inspiration, I go in there, and it's kind of like the runway for fashion because the displays are amazing. We are all, I think, on the same page with that, but they're like, so it's hard to believe you guys do them in-house because they are one of those things that you start to do, oh, that looks easy, it's rubber bands. And as I mentioned earlier, 17 hours later, it looks nothing. It doesn't look like the display at Anthropologie, but literally, now that I know that all of my senses are being like a trend when I walk in there, but the displays are inspiring. Candles, obviously, books. I love just walking around the store, but also restoration hardware. I mentioned earlier I have a very neutral palette, so I like the cozy blankets, the throws, the cashmere, the velvets. I love it, so obviously that's a go-to for me too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously Anthropologie is a go-to. I mean, I think it's decorative accent, absolutely. I think what's really nice is as we expanded this store and reopened it last year in April, we brought in our 7 home showrooms. So you get to see the entire line and assortment of our home and design. We have services, design services now too, free interior design services. And we just launched our fall catalog just this week. And with that, all of our furniture became 100% customizable. So 130 different fabrications of upholstery and different hardware, and you can do studs. You don't have to do studs. You can change up your metals between lucite and brass and wood. So it's really nice to see the elevation and evolution. Yes, apparently evolution of what we have done with our home business.
Well, I think we have time for a few questions. If any of you guys have any questions for our panelists, please let us know. We can bring the mic over to you. Does anyone have any home decor questions? If you don't, I'm going to ask one. No? I'd love to know where you guys get inspiration from, whether it's on Instagram, on Pinterest, a couple places where we can go and get inspiration.
For me, Amber Interiors, I don't know if you guys follow her, but she has amazing style. She's an interior designer in LA, and she posts rooms all over her Instagram. So I follow her constantly, and whenever I have a question and I want to defer to her, my sister actually wrote me this morning and sent me a picture of her bedroom she's trying to make it over, and she was like, should I put these pictures over my bed or this? And I'm like, let me get back to you. Hold on just a second. Let me refer to my, my Pinterest boards. That's another place I go to. And then also I go to Amber Interiors. I also look at, I feel like Jonathan Adler sometimes. And I generally look to fashion bloggers because I feel like their style oftentimes, you know, translates to their home style as well. And we're taking so many photos at home that I knew once I bought my new house last year, I was like, you can't just like do anything. You have to have bright and white and airy and light, and you know, you really think about it. So I generally look to their style for home as well. So I'm on Instagram and I'm also on Pinterest. Pinterest has such amazing design. Follow Elle Decor and a few places like that. Follow my Pinterest at the Style Editrix, and I'll show you lots of good home design.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, I love Pinterest for sure. It's like that one place that you could categorize all of your inspiration. I also follow this one girl. She's called Zevi Joy on Instagram. I really love her clean taste and the way that she would just put a mug, and it's the same picture 10 pictures ago, and it just really looks so great. So I kind of definitely emulate a lot of her style just because it really speaks to me. I also like taking inspiration from like restaurants or so, especially in LA. They have so many weird, cool ways of decorating that I just think I'll go home and I'm going to do exactly that. Or this could go in this corner or so. And I also like to be nosy in people's houses. So I will be the one that's taking a walk and I'll peek into someone's house if their curtains are open, because I want to see how, you know, how they put their pillows or something. Because those are not the people you get to see. And I get to see the restaurants and the people on Instagram and Pinterest. But my neighbors, I like to be nosy and just look how they did stuff and kind of like add a little bit of their taste to
I have totally done that when like someone's screen is open. You can like peek in and see a couple of things they have going on in their living room.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, kind of all of that as well. There's so many great interior designers on Instagram that I follow. I really love Amber Interiors. Becky Owens is another really good one. I think that's her name. Yes. She does a lot of like white spaces with like pops of prints and things. Also restaurants. About a year and a half ago, we were redoing our house, and I was at a restaurant in LA, and I noticed they had this really cool black and white cement tile, and we were at the time trying to think of something to do around the hearth of the fireplace, and I was like, I took a picture of that tile, and then I found it at a cement tile shop later, and it ended up being like a really good focal point in our living room. So it's, I mean, there's inspiration all around. You can find it pretty much anywhere.
I mean, Instagram is wonderful, Pinterest. I love looking at home magazines and home books. That's like the one thing I love to do when I have absolutely no agenda and just sit on the couch and look through home books. But I think I probably get my biggest inspiration from flea markets, obviously. I'm usually at one every Sunday, and I'm often asked, what are you looking for? And I always say the same thing, I don't know until I see it, because I think that the furniture kind of speaks to me. The few times that I have gone to the flea market looking for something specific, I feel like I'm missing out on other things because I'm so honed in on looking for one thing in particular. So I've learned over the years to kind of keep my eyes open and just whatever I'm drawn to and whatever speaks to me. So huge inspiration there. And these designers, M. Henderson is obviously another huge one that she's just fun and funny to watch. Her Insta stories are amazing. I feel like I know her, never met her, but I feel like we would be besties if we did meet. But yeah, I think Instagram and social media has been amazing in our world. I think in the design world, you can learn and see so much. So, and put your own spin on it, of course.
I think all of those things, you know, still going back to old school, like magazines and, you know, looking at Digest and looking at, you know, those magazines that really like allow you to touch too versus like virtual. But I think in general with us, inspiration mostly comes for our display, our background, and like even our product from outside, so natural. So, you know, it's a destination in like a small little Italian country or a small little Italian city. It's a magazine article that we saw, it's outside, it's a forest, and the way the tree kind of lights up. So the idea behind all the display and the material manipulation is always coming from something natural as a start of it, and then us playing around with it and materializing it in different ways.
Well, I want to thank you guys so much for